I want to welcome you on behalf of Amazon and AWS to this Big Idea session. I'm excited about this one because a topic we're talking about today, I think meets the barometer of it's a first of its kind. So these sessions have the label Big Idea. This is a big idea that these two folks next to me have actually turned into reality. So super excited today to sit here with Anya Smith, who is the CEO of Taskrabbit, and Mike Murphy, who is Director of Business Development at Alexa Plus. So what we're talking about today, there's three problem spaces and interesting topics. One of them, we can't speak a sentence at this show or really anywhere in this industry without using those words, which is agentic AI. So that's in here. Check. Another one is voice. So, I've been at Amazon for a little over 20 years and been part of, the birth of Alexa. And, there's always been this promise of where can we take this? What can human voice actually do to help solve problems, initiate tasks? You'll hear about this today. And then the last big problem, certainly in my life, is how do I solve my home services challenges and get stuff done at home? So Anya is solving that for the industry. So, very excited to have them here today. So, in terms of our discussion, the key takeaways that I hope you'll keep your eye on today are, first of all, we want to learn about how can customers use Alexa Plus to book services and simply initiate them, from the comfort of their own home. We're going to learn a little bit about the how. So Mike's going to talk a bit about the technical approach. We promise we're not going to go too deep, but I think in this day and age, it's important to have some understanding of how it actually gets done. And then some tactical look ahead on, what's coming next with this product. But before I hand it over to these folks, let's take a quick look at what the experience is actually like. So that looks amazing. So Anya, would you mind introducing yourself and tell us a bit about what you do?
Thank you. My name is Anya, and I spend majority of my time thinking about how to connect our taskers who are highly skilled and dependable with folks who need help around the house. And so I'm very focused on thinking about how people can earn money while others while others save time and do other better things with their lives.
So it's interesting because you have two customers, right? You have the taskers, who may be small business owners or individuals, and you're looking to make their lives easier. And then, of course, you have the mom in the video that looks a lot like me that needs help around the house. So super exciting. Talk a bit more about, folks in the room are likely familiar with Taskrabbit. Just give us a high level, like what's your mission, and elaborate a bit on sort of what keeps you up at night and how are you thinking about the mission of the company?
So today, Taskrabbit is in 8 countries, but majority of our business is still here in the U.S. We are in many categories. Our biggest category is, in fact, furniture assembly. It's about 20+% of our business, but we do a lot of TV mounting. We do a lot of mounting overall, and then a lot of other tasks around the home, whether that's cleaning or yard work or moving or other things that you may need help with. We do this with thousands of taskers globally. We have over 50,000 taskers just in the U.S. alone. We have over 1 million taskers waiting to get on our platform. And last year we finished well over 3 million tasks. So it's been a lot of fun. There are a lot of learnings. I think a lot about how we can continue to grow and whether that's getting new customers on our platform, and we can do that with partners like Alexa Plus, of course, and how to make sure that the folks that do come onto our platform to have their problems solved stay and come back over and over again. And I think a lot about how to ensure that our taskers continue to make a meaningful income.
So, hugely complicated job. I do envy you because I feel it's a very tangible one, right? Like you can see the difference you make in people's lives. So you have no shortage of challenges. I also, from my perspective from AWS, we are honored to play a small role in partnering with you to help you on the technology side with a lot of those services. Now, on top of all of that, what caused you to lean into this project? Like, how did this come about? Why did you decide that, voice and working with Alexa Plus was something you wanted to prioritize?
So honestly, we are always thinking about how do we get new customers onto our platform. My team will know that for years I have been saying things like, I don't understand why you can't just talk to Alexa and it brings someone to your home. I use Alexa all the time. I especially use it when I'm in my kitchen and I'm cleaning and I notice that I'm running out of soap or something. I'll just say, hey, Alexa, can you please add more dish soap? And then, she will tell me what is the last dish soap order that I had and then order it again for me, which is so helpful because it is really different than actually having to take off my gloves, go into my phone, open up my app and start doing all of that. The voice technology makes it so much more convenient. So I have been asking about how we do that for actually getting people to help you with your everyday tasks at home. So, obviously with AI, we started seeing how customers are going onto other platforms to start ordering services. And often it was, other services, not necessarily home services, but it definitely got the idea thinking. And then, we started talking with Alexa Plus and it's been a really great partnership so that we can make it so much easier for customers to actually book people on while it's all hands free. And I want to emphasize that not all platforms can actually do the booking all the way through. With Taskrabbit, as a customer, you'll be able to order the task, find the tasker, and actually pay and close out the task all via Alexa versus having to just start the process on Alexa Plus and then going off platform to finish it off. So it's really an exciting opportunity and I can't wait for us to get started.
So I love the parallel you've drawn to the invoking a product replenishment, for example, through Alexa, which probably natively at Amazon and Alexa sort of came first to mind, right? It's also probably a little easier, right? You have a specific SKU. With services, there's a lot more involved. And I'm guessing what you were referring to in other industries, right? Travel, ordering food were other use cases. So this is a hard one, but it's one, like you said, that could make a real difference to people's lives. So Mike, can you start sharing with the audience a little bit, like how do you guys come in? What does that relationship look like?
Yeah, thank you, Petra. So just for intros, my name is Mike Murphy. By the way, fresh off CES, so let's see how this goes. It's a little ambitious to do these back to back. My team and I represent the Alexa Plus team, and we manage our third-party partnerships. And so we have a vision at Alexa Plus to be the world's greatest personal assistant. And in order to fulfill that vision, that requires us to bring in a large number of third-party service providers and services, and that spans the gamut of various categories that could be ride-hailing, food ordering, booking reservations, booking appointments, ordering tickets, and a big part of that is booking home service providers to come into your home, which brought us to the partnership with Taskrabbit. As Anya was saying, really our vision is to enable an experience that a customer can do any of these things end-to-end on Alexa. You never have to leave the platform. You can do it through voice, and that's certainly what Alexa is known for. But Alexa Plus is going to be also off of voice. So last week we just announced Alexa.com. So if you want to do things with the keyboard on web or mobile, that's also now a possibility. So it's a really exciting journey. I'll talk a little bit more about the Alexa Plus customer vision. Yeah, it's all very
I think
exciting.
the keyboard-based accompaniment or that ability to invoke your requests through different avenues is really exciting. So can you tell us a bit more, like when should we be expecting something to go live? And maybe, you know, more interestingly, like what are you looking as, you know, like gates for, you know, success and customer experience? Like, what are you still working on before you say we're ready?
Yeah, so just to give the audience a little bit of context on Alexa Plus, hopefully many of you are already customers as we've rolled it out in early access to all Prime members. But if you're unfamiliar with it, really it's a relaunch of the Alexa platform. You know, as Anya was saying, the previous version of Alexa was great. It was good for certain things, but there was a little bit of rigidity to the experience. And so now we're relaunching the experience with the power of large language models powered by AWS Nova. Really across three different overarching themes. Number one, it's a much more conversational experience. So when you speak to Alexa, it's like speaking to a human. She can understand colloquialism, slang, imprecise speech. You also only have to say Alexa to start the session like you would say hello to a human. The second one is it's going to be personalized to you. So everybody's Alexa Plus experience will be different. And that's going to be keying off of all the information Alexa gathers about the customer, as well as Amazon gathers about the customer to curate that experience. And the third one is it's going to be a much more proactive experience. So let's say you buy a television or nursery equipment for your baby. Alexa will recognize that context and then leverage our third-party partners like Taskrabbit to schedule a tasker without the customer having to ask for that. So we see this as a new ingress point for all of our partners that Alexa will now be much more proactive, whereas in the past, it was very much the customer was commanding and Alexa was responding, asked and answered. So we think it's a big opportunity for all of our partners, and it's just going to be a new experience for our customers.
So I had to chuckle a little bit, Anya, when you were saying, you know, as a consumer in my house, I'm thinking Alexa should just be able to do that, which I think I've heard our executives say for a long period of time. And you know, in a way, what Alexa Plus is bringing, you know, was the original vision, right? It's sometimes it takes for technology to catch up to that vision. So to have a multi-turn conversation, to bring in that anticipatory context and the proactive suggestion that, hey, I saw you bought a TV. Now let's get that, you know, hooked up and ready for you. So let's bring it back to Taskrabbit. So Anya, what are you most looking forward to? Like what is success going to look like? What are you excited about with this launch?
I'm really excited by just improving the customer experience. I think having it be very conversational will drive trust and will drive retention as well. You just listed a perfect example. Obviously, as customers buy items on Amazon, there's often a lot of work that comes with it, whether it's putting together a crib or mounting a TV or mounting curtains or whatever else it may be. And so there is a lot of opportunity for us jointly to provide a much better and more convenient experience for the customer. Oftentimes, they may be even hesitant to, let's say, buy something, a piece of furniture that requires so much assembly. Knowing that there's someone there to help them do that will hopefully allow them to be more likely to press that buy button. And I'm very excited about also the opportunity of new customers coming onto our platform via a whole different channel that we haven't used before, and then hopefully staying on our platform as well. I love the conversational aspect of it too. Every job is unique, and so a lot of scoping is required. And so to be able to do that in a conversation versus typing up your whole description of your task and then the tasker coming back and asking more details, and then the back and forth can be a lot more natural if we can scope the job earlier on. Having that structured data also allows us to provide a better match. At the end of the day, what we try to do at Taskrabbit is to provide the best match that we can between the client and the tasker, thinking about everything from price and location and the types of tools, the types of skills, the type of experience. And so there are a lot of components to really perfecting that match. If we can get a lot more of that data prior to the task, we can be just that much smarter in the match, and then therefore also just providing a much better experience for our customers.
Yeah, and maybe to build on that, one of the things that we're really excited about working with the Taskrabbit team is that within the home services industry, they really have a leg up on the experience that fits really well with where we're trying to go, where you can do instant booking, all in one transaction. So you go on Alexa Plus, you're prompted to find a tasker. They'll provide pricing. They'll provide the ability to instantly book right there on the spot. So you can get this done literally within a matter of seconds. And so we give them a lot of credit for the innovation that they've brought forward within their vertical.
It's one of those ideas that I think captures the imagination. So I think also for the Taskrabbit brand, it's strategic. It's a great signal that you're innovative. This is a question that's maybe, looking too far ahead. But first of all, it sounds like you're also excited by the signal power or the insights that this launch will give you, in terms of demand and needs. Is that right?
With almost everything that we do, we are trying to get smarter, and really that comes down to data. And this is a great opportunity for us with this joint project to get smarter in how we collect the data. What types of questions should we be asking? What types of answers are more likely or most likely to help us, again, to provide that kind of match? And I feel that here we can test in ways that are quicker and faster. So it's super exciting, because at the end of the day, as most providers do, we think about how we can just provide a better experience, make it more convenient, make it more affordable, and make it easier for customers to book and then to actually have a really good experience. And a lot of that depends on who shows up at your house. And we can be better at making sure that we provide the right person.
It's almost like you get an ongoing live field study where you listen to your customers, those that are willing to talk and engage. What about, if we open the aperture a little wider beyond the more binary invoke a service or ask about a service, are there also considerations of, we talked earlier about the two customer types, so the tasker and the customer. Are there efficiency gains, or are you also thinking more broadly about how does AI help you as a company, beyond what we're talking about here today, be more efficient?
Yes. So obviously here on this side, we are talking about how we use AI to drive growth. And frankly, I think that that's actually we're all just at the start of it. I think sort of the first stage of what we've seen over the last 24 months or so, our companies really focus on driving efficiencies, which is great. And we're doing that as well. We're thinking about it in two components, both individually and making sure that our employees have the tools and the skills to leverage AI tools to be more productive. And then we're also thinking about it from a functional perspective. How do we leverage third-party AI tools to make our legal department more efficient, obviously make our engineers be more efficient, and so forth? And then how do we connect all of that? But all of that, I think, is, while great and while driving efficiency, at some point will sort of, I think, there will be it is sort of a law of diminishing returns, meaning at some point it will plateau. And I think we've been at it for the last 18, 24 months. I think we still have some runway. We still have a lot to learn, and there are still a lot of new tools coming out. And it's exciting to see the gains, and sometimes we don't see them as much as we would like. But I think on the other side, thinking about how AI can really propel us to drive growth in a new way, I think that's still more unexplored. So this is a great opportunity to do that. But I think for us as Taskrabbit, there's a lot more that we can do in terms of our product and making it much easier and much simpler for customers to book, leveraging AI. So we're doing it in both sides of how we think about our company. There's just, it feels like we just started to scratch the surface.
That may be the case, but on the other hand, I think you're charting new ground, right? You're definitely, when it comes to home services, and I've spent a number of years actually working in that space as well, focused on B2B. It's really, really hard, and a lot of people have tried, and not too many have succeeded. And you have.
It is really hard, and it's hard because it's really hard to scope the job. The sort of TV, mounting a TV is not that hard. There's few things you have to understand, like the size of the TV. Do you need cables to be hidden or not? What, is it a brick wall or a normal wall? I'm sure there's a better term for drywall and so on. But you can kind of understand what that is like. When someone says, well, my doorknob doesn't work, it's really hard to know, is it something that is fixable, or do you actually have to replace the whole thing? And to scope that out properly requires a lot of questions, and sometimes until the tasker is on site, they don't know. And a large portion of our jobs are not that easily scopable. And so there's a lot of ways that we can still get a better understanding of what the job is. But I do think it's a hard problem. And I do believe that many companies have tried. As Taskrabbit, we feel that we're at the forefront of really being able to understand our customers and finding the best taskers. And so there's still a lot of opportunity for us to get better.
Well, and what a wonderful challenge for technology, an opportunity for technology to help. Mike, anything we haven't talked about yet in terms of, as you're approaching this as a technology partner who's also pushing its own innovation, how are you working together?
Yeah, and by the way, I do think AI will actually help solve some of those problems of identifying wall types for sure. That's definitely coming if it's not already here. I think a general message I would say to folks who are just starting to wrap their minds around AI agents and what it means to them is, yes, like today, most transactions in business is still being done in mobile and web and the way we've been doing business for the last 10 to 20 years. But I think it's a certainty that AI agents will be the future. It's just more of a question of when. Now, is it tomorrow? Probably not. Is it a couple of years from now? I think so. And so where we've seen most of our partners, they've really evolved over the last 2 years, like you mentioned, from really not having any sort of idea of really what they wanted to do, to rapidly starting to advance their thinking. It seems like almost all of our partners now have a chief AI officer. Whereas when we started, we were coming to them with an AI agent plan. Now they're coming to us and saying, this is how we want to integrate into AI agents. And so it's really exciting to see just a massive shift in mindshare across a wide spectrum of companies. And so I think my message to companies who may still be trying to figure out what their AI strategy is don't wait. Don't wait until the dust settles. I think you have an opportunity to test and learn and become a thought leader within the AI space, because AI is coming. And it's like very similar to me as someone who's been around for a while to when we went from analog to digital in the 90s and 2000s. Looking back, it would have been foolish to wait till the dust to settle on the digital revolution to form your strategy. So that's our general call to action to partners, is to really get ahead of it. Yes, you're not going to get all the transactions today. We have a lot of partners who are saying, well, how many transactions are we getting? And it's like, that's not really the point. That will be the point in the near future. But now it's just, this is an opportunity to test and learn, and we're here to help. We really spend a lot of time analyzing the end-to-end experience. There's still a lot of rough edges in it. And so the phase we are in now is really analyzing with data where those friction points are and working with great partners like Taskrabbit to deliver that end-to-end experience.
To build on that, I couldn't agree more. We yet don't know and fully understand, but we're not going to get there if we're not trying. And so you have to be bold and take some decisions, even when there's a lot of uncertainty. This is all brand new. So I don't know how many orders I'm going to get through this. But as Mike said, that's really not the point. The point is for our teams to learn, for us to learn, and to really try and experiment so that we can get better and smarter quicker, so that it will get to a point where this is how customers shop, or this is how they experience the outside world. And we want to be on the forefront of that, as opposed to waiting and then be quite behind trying to catch up. And so it does mean sometimes that, I'm pulling engineering teams to do work on this with a more of an uncertain payback for right now, but I believe in a long term. And if I'm building the company for the next, not quarter or second quarter, but really for the next 2-5 years, this is a great long-term horizon project to invest in. So we're very excited.
Well, Taskrabbit is lucky to have a visionary CEO that sees that. At AWS, I meet with a lot of customers who, in the retail space or food services, consumer packaged goods, who are, they get it. They say this is as revolutionary and as disruptive as it was to go from brick and mortar and catalog to web and then to mobile. But it does take a little bit of a sort of suspension of judgment. Like you say, you cannot measure all these experiments the same way. So I'm sure there's people in the audience who came here to help figure out on behalf of their companies, like, what does their AI journey look like? And who probably took some notes right now to take back to their CEO to say, look, allow us to experiment, because if we don't, we will fall behind. Any other advice you would have if you think maybe about how you organize your teams, or mechanisms you've adopted, or ways of piloting projects that would be a takeaway for the folks in the room?
Look, we're all learning. There are no AI experts. I really don't believe, unless you've been working in DeepMind at Google or OpenAI, most of us just are learning. And so for me, the only way to learn is by trying and doing. And then I'm okay if I learn and try and it doesn't lead to anything. But I can't just stand still. So we have tried, for example, many different ways now to think about how do we organize ourselves? Who's responsible for AI? Who is managing AI projects, and so on and so forth? And did we always get it right? No. Are we getting it right today? I don't know. But we're trying different ways and are always changing and learning and listening and asking questions and being curious. There are always folks in any company, certainly at Taskrabbit, where they're sort of at the forefront. They're really excited. Give them more responsibility in this space. Let them lead and teach others. Majority of people are kind of, let's wait and see what happens. You need to help them come along. And then finally, there are definitely detractors and people who are sort of slower on a change curve, and that's okay. But it is really important, I think, to show how critical this is. And the only way to do that is if it comes from the top. We sort of, in the beginning, 2 years ago, it was like, oh, we should all be trying it. And why aren't people trying it? And then when you dig in, you realize that you have to be intentional about it. And so it's been a fun journey so far, and I can't wait to keep going.
Amazing. On this note, thank you so much, both of you, Anya, Mike, for being here today. Can't wait to see what's next for the project. We'll be watching and hope to share more soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.